Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
We should revert the game back to 2019 Siege? No. Hell no. 2019 Siege. That's what season is that? Isn't that literally like Operation Chimera? Let's see here. What was 2019? So 2019 is fucking Burnt Horizon, when everyone was running Wind Bastion skins, because that was the season that just came out. Alright. Phantom Sight, two fucking useless operators. Merc and Warden, at least on launch. Burnt Horizon is also, in that current patch, if you're talking about that one, that is also when Glass is still broken, he hasn't been nerfed yet. Emberize, coming with Amaru and Goyo. And Goyo was broken in Emberize. And also, you get the Emberize skin, which was really funny. And then you also get Kali and Wamai.
Bro, this man got a chainsaw in his background.
Wamai breaking the game even further on defense. The game was extremely defender-sided.
I thought so.
And yeah, Kali was... I mean, Kali's always been kind of dog water. I still don't agree with them nerfing her. That was weird. Oh yeah, audio bugs. Like, 2019 was fucking boring. Characters were either completely broken or completely useless. Parabellum was like... I mean, Chimera was Chimera with Lion and Finca. I don't think I need to speak that much. Then you had like Cheater Season, Parabellum. Parabellum was way worse than what we have now in terms of cheating. Grim Sky, okay. I mean, Maverick kind of broke the game, but we got Clash, so I have to be biased. That's just the way it works. And then it ended with Wind Bastion? Yeah. Wind Bastion was kind of nice, getting Kaid and Nomad. I don't know, like, I don't want to go back. Like, the game has improved so fucking much since old Siege. And I just like having access to way more content, too. 2019, when the game was fun, good, and popular. Now the game is how you want it, and guess what? You and almost every Siege content creator has lower views. Yeah, but the game's better. I don't care if I have lower views. The game's still in a way better spot right now. I promise you the majority of people who play the game liked it before 2020. Well, just because a lot of people liked it doesn't mean they liked it for the right reasons. Sure, maybe there was a bunch of people that liked that you could run around QEC spam drop shot with ACOG on Jagger. That doesn't mean the game was better. That was fucking trash. People used a bunch of cheese playstyles to do well at the game, and now they're mad that they can't do it and they stop playing the game. Good, fuck them. Now Siege is actually tactical. You actually have to strat. You can't just run. I mean, sure, you can still run around and try to click heads, but it's not nearly as rewarded as it used to be. You actually have to have a brain to play the game nowadays. And yeah, some people don't like that because they don't really have a brain. And that's okay. Siege doesn't want to cater to people like that. It's not cheese strats, it's being able to have mechanical skill. That is so fucking brain dead. It's not skillful to just pick up Vigil, K1A, run around, not have to think any of the macro, how you play with your teammates, right? And be able to pick up 2 exit frags after your team has already died, after the enemy team's hit side, because your roaming opened up a hole in the defense. That is not mechanical skill, that is just being a brain dead fragger. Whew. I didn't expect to get this kind of convo like 10 minutes into the stream, but here we are. It's like you're going into a McDonald's, right? And you say, can I order a pasta? Like they say, oh, we don't serve pastas here. Oh, but I want a pasta. Why don't you make me a pasta? Well, there's a pasta shop literally across the road. Why don't you go there and get a pasta? Well, I want to be here and get a pasta. I want to get a McPasta, right? It's like, dude, don't go into a hamburger shop and ask for pasta. If you want the hamburger, go get a hamburger into a hamburger shop. You want the pasta, you go to a pasta shop. It's that simple. Mamma mia. Not everyone wants to spend a million years strategizing on an FPS game? Cool. Then don't. It's so simple. Running in with Ashe no brain was a high risk, high reward. That McDonald's analogy would make sense if the McDonald's was the pasta place before it was McDonald's. Well, no. Siege has always meant to be a strategic game, a tactical game, where you play smart and not just run and gun. Sure, maybe that wasn't the case and people are allowed to do so, but you have to consider the fact that they've been trying to nerf that kind of playstyle since the game literally came out, right? They've tried to make it very clear that that's not welcome. So no, the analogy still makes sense. Just because you have a bunch of people in the shop trying to make it a pasta place doesn't make it a pasta place. Maybe they had a special order at one point where it was like, I make pasta. But they never did. If the game is not for me, then why was the game at its peak and getting better until it shifted towards this? But because there was a lot of people that played the game because it was like that. And but that, again, that doesn't mean that the game is bad. Right? You can have a niche audience that really appreciates the game for what it is, and the game can be really popular with a bunch of idiots, which usually is actually the case. But, and yeah, it's gonna take time for Siege to really like rebuild a community that likes the game for what it is, but it's going to be able to do that. Siege is a very niche game that serves an actual unique gameplay experience compared to other FPS games. Some people like it, some people don't, and that's okay. Why should the game shift completely after 4 years with a fan base built with different kinds of people in the community? People like this mechanism, people like the strategic. Well, there wasn't any strategic back in the day, like you said. It was just Ash main rush, no brain. You literally said that yourself. That's not strategy. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, game developers also make the game that they want to make. It's not always about serving a bunch of other people, right? You have to realize that the game always had a vision, right? You might not necessarily agree with the vision, and that's completely fine. But don't be mad when the game's vision doesn't match up with yours. Because at the end of the day, it's like a YouTube creator, right? Like, I create the videos that I want to watch, right? They're creating the game that they want to play, right? Some people won't like my videos, some people won't like the game, right? And that's completely fine. But it's not always about you serving the majority, right? The game had the same feel with nice mechanics and strategy. You keep saying there was no strategy. There wasn't strategy at all. I've played this game since the game came out. Don't try it. Like, I've played this game a lot more than you, man. Don't try to correct me on how the game was used to be played. Back in the day, it was all just fucking, like, rushes. And, like, on defense, people just played a bunch of traps. And there was no cohesion at all. There was a strategy. Even you watch, like, high ranks in Pro League, there was barely strategy there, too. I remember Pengu went over some of the old like Pro League games and it was just completely like clown fiesta. It does, Dingleberry. I mean, sure, now you have LMGs being broken, but you're still seeing a shit ton of strategy being employed when you watch Pro League. Way more than it did back in the day.
Why do win as the MVP? What the?
Yeah, you're gaming, I guess. Oh, we were actually kind of close. I got 3 for 20. Hey. You got 3 for 42. Hey. Even in 2019, strategy was a skill gap that got you into high ranks? No. No. Even to this day, there still is a very heavy emphasis on literally its mechanical skill. And there's a bunch of like people who still manage to just get into higher ranks by just striking out well. That's always been the case. It still is the case. Sure, it's slightly less the case now, but it still is like an extremely heavy emphasis. You just need good mechanical skill to get a high rank, which is not how it should be, obviously. But that's always been the case. You go back and look at like year 2, year 3, it was just mechanical skill. Just mechanical skill in ranks. Like, rank has always been a joke. Always. Competitive play has been better, but rank has just always been kind of a joke. You had to have an absolute ton of mechanical skill to be in a high rank. Yeah, but everyone did. There was really no differentiator. Nowadays, you need both mechanical skill and a brain. You didn't have to back in the day. You should be rewarded for having good aim? Of course. Of course. It's not that you shouldn't be rewarded for having good aim, but Siege rewards both mechanical skill and... I don't really know what name to put on it, but I just... like, I mean, we could say game knowledge. Just putting in like tacticality, strategical, like mind, all of that stuff, right? Like, Siege rewards that a shit ton as well, compared to a lot of other games which focus a lot more on the mechanical skill. But that's a design choice, right? I'm not saying that the game shouldn't reward mechanical skill, of course, but it shouldn't be the one thing that decides how good you are at this game. And it's not, thank God. Like that is what makes Siege good. No? If the game was still in like 2019, there would be tons and tons of more strategy by now, with it being 3 years later. There is. Just because you don't like that kind of strategy, it doesn't mean that there's not any strategy. This new strategy being used every year would still bring a requirement for a brain. There is. The 2019 mechanics in the game at the time gave you a choice. What? Have fun with mechanics in lower rank to strategize yourself into a higher rank. Yes, that's literally what you do. And no, there's no way you by yourself can mechanic your way into a higher rank back then without good teammates. Of course you could. There's literally been like content creators and streamers that have literally just solo queued their way to a high ranks by just good mechanical skill. Like there's literally documented stuff that people have done that. Clearly you don't own an air fryer. Like there's been people have done that literally all the time. With the game being so slow, if you just want to shoot people with Ash in a low rank, it's very boring. Good, learn to play the game instead. And you'll actually have fun. You don't always want to nerd out totally in the game? Then don't. Nothing's stopping you.